foremost with all of our heart, mind, soul, and strength, Lord. With every fiber of our being, our love for you growing stronger and stronger each day, Lord. And we thank you, Father. We praise you for your love and kindness, Lord. And as you love on us, Lord, we can love you, Lord, and we can love on one another, Lord. And what a blessing it is that you gathered us here this night, Lord, that we might come to worship you in spirit and in truth, Father. We thank you, Lord. We praise you for this time our hearts draw near to you, just a few moments of fellowship and chatter that we enjoy with one another, Lord. And we thank you, Lord. We pray for your love and your kindness, Lord, and your faithfulness. Lord, we pray you bless us as we continue to worship you through the study of the Word now. We thank you, Father. We pray. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Praise the Lord, guys. Good to see you folks. I hope you guys are enjoying the cool weather because, a lot of times it's short-lived around here, and then it's good to be able to just get a little bit of that cool weather. I know I was standing outside in Moanalua at Aliamanu Middle School waiting to go and vote at the caucus last evening, and the wind was kind of coming down through Moanalua Valley, and man, it was cool, and I'm glad I had a jacket on, and I just thought, I'm going to put on some long pants too. So I wore jeans, I wore shoes, I put a jacket on, but it was good because we were standing out there exposed, and as soon as I got there, I said, oh, nobody's there, there's parking right in the parking lot. But as soon as I parked there, I was listening to the radio, and boom, man, people started piling in, people started jumping out of the cars, the line started to grow, so I figured, I'm going to get in because I wanted to kind of get in, get out, and get some things done at home. But praise the Lord, God is good, God is in control, God raises one up, He puts the other one down. God has His plans and purposes. Like the Proverbs says, the heart of the king are like channels of water in his hands. And, he turns it whichever way he wishes. Guys, a lot of times, we pray, we think that, hey, God's going to help you out, that this is how you got to answer this prayer, and this is what you got to do, and these are the guys that you got to get in, and so on, and so forth, but we just don't know what the Lord has planned. God is faithful and He's righteous, so we just rejoice in what He's doing. But we're going to continue in our study through the book of Proverbs, chapter 25. Just a couple things needed. We always looking for help here around the chapel. We'd like to raise up a couple extra guys in the audio-visual department, guys who can sit in, guys who can know and learn the program and the system. It's always to get some backups, and Hank's always looking for a few good hands to help clean up and tune up around here. Sunday School Ministry is always looking for a few good, committed folks to minister the Word of God. But River of Life Mission, guys, our turn to serve at the mission is coming up on Tuesday, March the 22nd. So, please mark your calendars, invite your kids and your co-workers and whoever you will. But, I'm so reminded of the blessing it is to go down there and to minister. So that's Tuesday, March 22nd. I think we go at 6 p.m. or even earlier, but just come out because just hanging out is a blessing, and if you can be a helping hand, even better yet. So, we can give you more information after the service, but just a great time of joy as we get out to serve there at the mission. Proverbs 25, and it speaks of relationships with kings, and these are the Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah and Judah transcribed. And here again in verse 1, we see a turn in the corner in the Proverbs again. Here we see the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, now transcribing this particular set of Proverbs. Solomon not only wrote some 3,000 Proverbs, guys, and wrote some 1,005 songs, we're told. But we're told that he pondered and searched out and arrayed many Proverbs. Ecclesiastes 12:9 tells us that. So as he went out and he sought the wisdom of other great men of God, arranged many proverbs. He pondered, he searched out, and to ponder the Word of God is a wonderful thing. To ponder the writings of men anointed by God is a tremendous thing. And Proverbs Solomon was one who did those things, and he himself sought the wisdom of God through the many other gifted guys, gifted by the Lord with wisdom and words of instruction and good counsel. Proverbs 1, verses 2 and 5, Solomon says it rightly. He says to know wisdom and instruction, to discern the sayings of understanding, and to receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and equity. And I think, in just two short verses, he sums it up really well. Wisdom and instruction, ask God's discernment in the sayings of understanding, and to receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and equity. I think we just managed to do that maybe pretty well, don't you think, guys? Righteousness, justice, equity, wise behavior. A lot of times, we used to get sent to school, sent to the principal's office or the VP's office for poor behavior. So we had problems with behavioral things right from the beginning. But it all comes down to the basics, guys. Like endless repetitive drills on the basketball court, on the football field. You see the kids running the same drills, the in and out patterns. You see them passing the ball. You see them dribbling. You see them doing the layup. You see them doing the set shots, the jump shots, the outside shots. And it's a constant repetitive thing. And for us, it's a constant repetitive thing of going to the Word of God, being accustomed to the Word of God, to know that instruction, to grow in wise behavior, in God's righteousness, in God's justice, in God's fairness. What do you think, guys? Verse 2 says that it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings to search out a matter. And you might ask, hey, how come, God? Why is this that you conceal matters? Why can't these guys figure it out? How come they just don't understand, or I don't understand, or how come God? Ooh, I'm mad. Well, God isn't here to answer all of our questions, guys. He doesn't serve as the answer man for all things, for all time. At times, in fact, all the time, it's better to give all the glory to Him. And there are things that we'll never understand this side of heaven. There are things that we'll never understand this side of heaven. There was a guy who asked a lot of questions. His name was Job. And God answered him, I will ask you and you instruct me. In other words, Job had a lot of questions. But God says, hey, I will ask the questions and you be my instructor. You tell me what I have to do and how I should react in certain circumstances. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth was one question he asked Job. He said in another response, tell me if you have understanding. And he goes on to say, what about when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? And when you read these passages in parts of Job, you kind of think that, wow, the stars of the morning sang and all the sons of God sang for joy. What a glorious thing that was, that God's creation and God's time of perfect beauty and giving man understanding that we would worship before Him. As we stand before the Lord, it's going to be with the utmost awe and reverence, guys. Utmost awe and reverence. The small stuff we sweat now will not even matter. It's the little things that kind of stumble us and fumble us and trip us up. These are the things that won't matter. But it comes down to it, it's trust or trusting in Him. And here the wise king or person searches out the wisdom of God. And even more so, His peace, His rest, His hope. Those are the things we have to search out. It's not the whys, the what ifs, and the up-downs, and so on and so forth. But even more, it's His peace, His rest, and His hope we place in Him. In God we trust and nothing else. And sometimes God just purposely holds things back that we might just have to rely on Him and trust in Him even more and more and more. And sometimes our questions really say, hey, we don't trust you, God. Hey, I don't trust you in this matter. And it's kind of a bad thing, because a lot of times I have questions myself, but I don't even want to voice them. Even in the silence of my own heart, I'm repenting and saying, forgive me, God, because I don't have to mouth them, but He already knows them before I speak them. So it's kind of like, hey, I'm not perfect, man, guys. I have my questions, I have my doubts, I have my fears, and so on. And the same thing that we all go through is in having to trust God in the difficult times, in the time of testing. Verse 3 says, as the heavens were high and the earth was depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Maybe the bad king or the sinner, or maybe a believing brother or sister that within their own heart, we're not quite sure what's up in this or that in their heart, what's going on. Sometimes, deep down in the recesses of the heart, we just don't know what's going on. What the thoughts. And you kind of think that, hey, Lord, you know my heart, you know my wicked ways, my wicked thoughts. For the child of God, we can come to Him and we can say, hey, Lord, I need help in my unbelief. Lord, I need help in my lust. I need help in my sin, my grief, my anger. I need help in the questions that I have concerning other people, so on and so forth. We're not quite sure what all is in there at times. The heart can be filled with love or lust. It can be filled with desire or doubt. It can be filled with evil or obedience, guys. But God knows our hearts and searches and enlightens and examines. And God, and only God, is able to recreate this. We sing that song, Lord, breathe new life in me. And sometimes the heart might be so deadened by the things of this world and the sinful state we were in, or the state that we are in, But only He can breathe that life, and He can bring that recreation of that heart from a solid rock to something that's soft, something that's pliable, something that's just beating with the vibrancy of His love. He can bring steadfastness and joy, filling us with purity and gladness. And these are the things God will do, because sometimes, when you think of your heart, man, it's kind of scary, because, at times we have these wicked thoughts that would really even really bring hurt to others, hurt to ourselves, because, when we stay in that position, we stay in that place, it really affects us. Bitterness, like drinking poison and waiting for the other guy to die, is exactly that case, right? And we are to come to watch over our hearts, for from it springs flows the spring of life. Proverbs 4:23. Watch over our hearts, for from it flows the springs of life. As God breathes that life in us, it's our kind of a duty to care and to kind of nurture and to kind of keep those springs from filling up with muck and mire and leaves and branches and being stopped up and stopping the flow of that living water. Amen, guys? Sometimes little towns, I was watching one program where a little mountain village in Japan, each family took turns cleaning out this one little spot in the top of the mountain that from it came spring water. And each family's turn was to go up there and to clean out any rubbish, any leaves, anything that would prevent the flow of pure water down to their little village and hamper the drinking water, the fresh water supply of the people who live below. And when you kind of think of that, hey, Lord, hey, what's the junk? What's the Ocala clogging up the springs of the water of life that flows from our hearts? God, help us clean those things out. Help us clean those things out. Verse 5 goes on to say, take away the wicked from the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Kings 12, verses 6 to 5 speaks about Solomon had passed off the scene, David had passed off the scene. Now Rehoboam, Solomon's son, was king over all of Israel. And Rehoboam went to try and just keep the unity of the nation, the northern kingdom of Israel, the southern kingdom of Judah, all together as one people. And King Rehoboam in verse 6 consulted with the elders who served his father Solomon while he was still alive, saying, "How do you counsel me to answer the people?" And they spoke to him, "If you will be a servant to the people, to this people today, and will serve them and grant them their petition and speak good words to them, they will be your servants forever." I believe that his servants were just filling in, hey, speak to them nicely, be fair in their treatment to them, and they're going to be your servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the elders which had been given to him, and consulted with the young men who grew up with him and served him. He said to them, "What counsel do you give that we may answer this people which have spoken to me, saying, lighten the yoke which your father put on us?" And the young men who grew up with him spoke to him, saying, "Thus you shall say to the people who spoke to you, your father made our yoke heavy. Now you make it lighter for us, but you shall speak to them, my little finger is thicker than my father's loin. Whereas my father loaded you up with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whip, but I will discipline you with scorpions." And Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the third day, as the king had directed, saying, "Return to me on the third day." The king answered the people harshly, for he forsook the advice of the elders which they had given him. He spoke to them according to the advice of the young men, saying, "My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add to your yoke. And my father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with scorpions." So the king did not listen to the people, for it was a turn of events in which the Lord, that he might establish his word, which the Lord spoke to Abijah, the Shilonite, to Jeroboam, son of Nebat. When all of Israel saw the king did not listen to them, the people answered the king, saying, "What portion do we have in David? We have no inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tent, O Israel, to your own house, David." So Israel departed to their tents. In one swift move, and not listening to the wise counsel of the elders, but going with the popular crowd, the guys that he grew up with, the guys that he ran around with, the guy just kind of just went the wrong way. Israel was split from a nation of 12 tribes, the northern kingdom of Israel, the southern kingdom of Judah, and had remained divided until they were carried off, the northern kingdom into Assyria, the southern kingdom to Babylon in captivity. So at times I just wrote in my little margin here, choose your counselors wisely. Choose your counselors wisely. Take the wicked away from the king, the Proverbs tell us, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Choose your counselors wisely, like the books of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. The full counsel of God becomes our best counselor. Our wisdom, our counsel is going to come really not from man, not from your girlfriend, your husband, boyfriend. It's going to come from the Word of God. And a lot of times, you'll get good counsel from your friends, you'll get good counsel from your family members, but most of the time, we stand firm upon the rock, the solid rock of Jesus Christ, and it's in His Word that we can put our trust, our hope, our faith. As we take the Bible, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, book by book, we get the full counsel of God, we get it in context, we can see the situation, we can make the application. Hey, how does this apply to my life? What were the mistakes that they made? Where were their pitfalls? What could I do differently in crying out to the Lord? What could I do differently in crying out to the Lord? See, like King Hezekiah, the writer of the one who kind of spearheaded these Psalm 25 to 29, was a good king. He's listed as a good king in the Chronicles of the King. But he had some things like not giving the glory to God. He had some things that God allowed him to be alone to allow his heart to be tested, to allow him to be tested. And sometimes being alone is good because, we can use that quiet time, but sometimes, if we can give that time to God and to His glory, it's a good thing. Sometimes time may be a good thing or a bad thing, but rest, recovery, restoration, so on and so forth. But sometimes when we have too much time, it's easier to get into just a little bit of mischief. But Proverbs 25, back to Proverbs 25, do not claim honor, verse 6, in the presence of the king. Do not stand in the place of great man. For it is better to be said to you, come up here, than you should be put lower in the presence of your prince, whom your eyes have seen. Guys, in 2 Samuel, we're going back into the Old Testament. We're looking for examples to glean right out of the Word of God. But 2 Samuel 15 is a painful time in the life of David during this time. David had fallen into sin with Bathsheba. He was involved with this heinous plot to kill Uriah the Hittite, Bathsheba's wife. The Lord used Nathan the prophet to really rebuke him and speak into his heart, and this really brought conviction to where David repented. However, it opened the door for a lot of things to come into David's life. One thing was his eldest son Absalom, who came into his life, went ahead and usurped the crown. He kind of hung around at the front gate. He won the hearts of the people and a lot of the leaders. And he kind of just snatched the kingdom away from his father David at a weak moment, at a weak period of time. Chapter 15, 2 Samuel, verse 31, someone told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, O Lord, I pray that the counsel of Ahithophel be made foolishness. And Ahithophel was one of David's trusted colleagues. He was a trusted advisor of David. Yet now when Absalom's coming and stealing the kingdom away from his father David, we find his trusted counselor Ahithophel among the conspirators. And it's kind of like a real bad deal, guys. As you might be close to the king or close to somebody in leadership and something like this happens. And David knew because the prophet kind of spoke some things will come into your life. The sword is not going to leave your hand. Things are going to get tough for you, David, because of this sin and the open door that you left wide open, and all these things were allowed to come in. And these are one of the fruits of that illicit relationship. But here in chapter 17 of 2 Samuel, guys, they were plotting to chase David down. David had left the city of Jerusalem. He left David's city. He marched out with his band of believers, and in shame they left Jerusalem in defeat. We're told that David walked barefoot with his head covered, and he was kind of like this in a position of brokenness, in a position of defeat, in a position of saying, hey God, your will be done, and people were cursing him, people were throwing stones at him, insulting him, and so on. And on the run, on the ropes, his friend Ahithophel says to Absalom, please let me choose 12,000 men that I might arise and pursue David tonight. I will come upon him until while he is weary and exhausted, I will terrify him so that all the people who are with him will flee. Then I will strike down the king alone. There was a trusted friend saying that, yeah, I'm going to chase David down like a dog, and I'm going to strike him down. Yet God heard the prayer of David because Absalom went and he sought the counsel of Hushai, the Archite. And Hushai told him, verse 8, you know that your father, his men, and his mighty men are fierce like a bear robbed of their field. Behold, now he has hidden himself in one of the caves or in one place or the other. When he falls on them at first attack, whoever hears it will say, there has been a slaughter among the people who follow Absalom. And even though it was bad and it was hard, it's like a heart of a lion. I will compete him with time for all Israel knows that your father is a mighty man, and those who are with him are valiant men. But I counsel that all Israel be surely gathered to him from valley to victory, as sand by the sea in abundance as you personally go to battle. So you shall come from him in one of the places where he can be found, and will fall on him as the dew falls on the ground. And on him of all the men who were with him, not even one will be left. And then verse 14 says, then Absalom and all the men of Israel said, the counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel, in order that the Lord might bring calamity. But the Lord ordained to thwart the good counsel of Ahithophel, in order that the Lord might bring calamity upon Absalom. God has a strange way of preserving his people. God has a way of raising up advisors, leaders, counselors, and so on and so forth. And in this particular case, verse 23 tells us, when Ahithophel saw that his counsel had not been followed, he saddled his donkey, he arose, he went to his home, to his city. He set his house in order and strangled himself. Thus he died and was buried in the grave of his father. You know, here's a terrible man to a trusted advisor to the king. He was an advisor to both David and to Absalom. Yet when Absalom rebelled against his father, Ahithophel jumped on his bandwagon. Why is that? Why is the word of God so important? Why is the little things that tell you about this guy or that guy so important? Because there's something that was in the back of my mind. I know that we've bumped into this before. But little did we know that Ahithophel the Gilonite, David's counselor, was Bathsheba's grandfather. Ahithophel, David's counselor, was Bathsheba's grandfather. And Ahithophel, knowing that David sinned with his granddaughter, he killed her husband and really brought the death of their first child, by sin, kind of brought it upon himself. But here was a guy that was motivated by anger. I have a little note in my Bible that I jotted down last night. Hate is a powerful motivator. Hate is a terrible motivator. And the end of it was death, the death of himself. But here was the guy who was standing in the presence of honor before the king, standing in the place of great men, giving his counsel, but he was put in the lower place in the presence of the prince. And it really happened because Absalom was the prince of Israel, prince of Judah, and his counsel really was not taken of himself, and it's not a great thing, guys. So be careful with our words of advice. We gotta kind of say, what is God telling you? What is God saying in this matter? We don't want to stand in the place of God saying that God said this, or this is what you ought to do. It's really what God is telling you. What is God telling you to do? What is your personal Bible study? Through your personal kind of devotion with the Lord, like speaking to your heart? Is it all one way? Is it your way? Or is it really God's way? stand as a counselor, or you can stand as one pointing the person looking for counsel towards God, or pointing people towards the cross of Jesus Christ. We hope that we do that here, that we point people towards the cross of Jesus Christ. But back to Proverbs 45, verses 8 to 10. Do not go hastily to argue your case, otherwise you will do it to the end when your neighbor puts you to shame. Argue your case with your neighbor and do not reveal the secret of another, lest he who hears it reproach you, and the evil report about you not pass away. Read it speaking about personal relationships with neighbors, guys. Personal relationships with neighbors. Who is your neighbor? It might be a brother or sister at church. It might be an actual neighbor at your place of residence. It might actually be a neighbor next to you at work or whatever it might be. But Paul wrote to the Corinthian church about litigation and lawsuits between believers, and how between believing brothers and sisters it was so ludicrous to him to go before the world and let the world rule on their behalf. In other words, he kind of told them, hey, how can you guys as brothers and sisters in the Lord take your lawsuits and your gripes to this worldly court system, this bunch of non-believers, and air all this laundry out, and you guys being known as Christians, really give a black eye to the Lord. They think these Christians are just like us, they have the same problems, they have the same dirty laundry, they have the same desire to sue this and to sue that. But that's between brothers and sisters. But here in Proverbs 25, the same thought with who is your neighbor or your neighbor. Go to him directly and try to resolve the issue. I know that there's not always that case, guys, and I know that we have good guys like Bill Lawson and other Christian guys who are attorneys. They'll fight for the rights of believers and stuff like that, especially for homeschoolers, especially for those standing up for the rights and liberties of Christians. And of course, if truly you have been wronged or injured, of course, or so on and so forth. But at times, I think Paul was trying to write as the proverb here. If you have a beef between a brother or sister in church, okay, go to them directly. And don't talk stink. Don't go arguing your case with the world and you get put to shame because you express and you air all these things out in public. But try and, if possible, settle it in the love of Jesus Christ. I think that's what the essence here, relationships with neighbors. Verse 11, like apples of gold and settings of silver, is a word spoken in right circumstances. When you kind of think here, we find one of the more beautiful verses and beautiful word pictures in the Bible. Beautiful golden apples, golden delicious apples, shades of green and tinges of golden, yellowy delight with a splash of red. I don't know about you guys. When I read this verse, I just fell in love. I love golden delicious apples. And when you think that, when you look at them, they are beautiful. The green on one side, the yellow on the other, and on the top you see them turning red. And they look so beautiful. They look so luscious. You can eat them with your eyes. But can you imagine this gorgeous stuff, a bowl full of these gorgeous apples, set into a silver bowl, man. A whole bunch of them just sitting there in a silver bowl. It's like a work of art. Just a delight to the eyes. And I think some of the best things in nature are God's creation. I look at some flowers and I'm just so amazed that they keep blooming and giving and giving and budding and giving and it's a beautiful thing, and you don't do much. You throw a little water on them and this and that, and you look at them and you think that they're so beautiful. But are delightful things of the eyes. But so is the word spoken in those circumstances, guys. Our words can complain, we can grumble, we can talk badly, we can talk stink of others, or we can build up, we can edify, we can encourage. hopefully we're looking for something good to say rather than something negative. And if it could possibly true, the person could be just guilty of all that stuff. But so were some of us. We were just as guilty as they were. Maybe probably more guilty. Our hearts just as black, our thoughts just as bad, our intents just the same, if not worse. But hopefully, we can use words that speak better than badly. Build up rather than tear down. Encourage rather than just spew out a whole bunch of garbage. Verse 12 says, like an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise reprover to a listening ear. Hopefully your words of exhortation will be good words, seasoned with grace and love, falling upon a receptive heart or a receptive ear. The ear is just the gate to the heart, guys. The ear is just the gate to the heart. So if the words are bad words or nonsensical words or whatever it might be, don't think it's going to fall on the good soil of the heart. Hopefully your words land on that good soil. Verse 13, like a cold snow in a time of harvest, is a faithful messenger to those who send him. He refreshes the soul of his master. The Hamakua Coast on the Big Island was, once predominantly all sugar plantations, guys. And in the times of the harvest, with the burning of the cane and much of the work, manual labor, pohana they called it. Imagine the workers looking up at Mauna Kea on one of those years when the snow was still present on the mountaintop, wishing they could enjoy some of that luscious snow, diving into that snow, swallowing that snow, bathing in that snow, playing in the snow, being refreshed by the snow. The old timers tell me that back in the old days there was more snow on the mountain. The snow lasted, almost year round on the mountain. And the wind coming down from the mountain was cold. A nice cool breeze coming down from the mountain. And they wish that they could enjoy that. But a faithful messenger to those who send him, he refreshes the soul of his master. I think like Jesus, man, he refreshed the soul of the Father as he brought that word of refreshment, that cool message of encouragement and salvation for us, guys. Verse 14, like clouds and winds without rain is a man who boasts of his gift falsely. There's some who are all talk, no action, all lip, no zip, or just blah, 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 blah. No need to say anymore. By forbearance, a ruler will be persuaded, and a soft tongue breaks the bone. By lengthy and hearty discussion, you might wear down your opponent. But by good reasoning, you may stop them in their tracks. And sometimes, if you try and reason, you try and give good examples, and sometimes guys, they know that you right, and they say, oh no, I'm going to have to write up my workers. Because it's not this guy's fault, it's not their lifting equipment's fault, but it was my guy's mistake. He doesn't want to hear it because he knows the consequences are not good if he follows policy and procedure. So sometimes, that answer, that face-to-face explanation is just a way to deal with a difficult situation, and to reason with wisdom. Of course, if you're wrong, you're wrong, but if you found honey, eat only what you need, lest you have it in excess and vomit it. We liken honey as words before the words of God, but here it may just be more literal. Sometimes more is not better. Sometimes more is not better. Verse 17, let your foot rarely be in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you. In other words, respect your neighbor's privacy. Don't go just barging in. Oh, hello. Verse 18, like a club and a sword with a sharp arrow is the man who bears false witness against his neighbor. False witness can become weapons that maim guys, cripple, or destroy. And we gotta know for sure before we say, oh, the guy was 3 sheets to the wind. We give some kind of bad excuse, like we just assume that the guy was here to look that, and he wasn't. We don't know that for sure. And it's better not to say anything than to just speak rashly and make a comment like that. Verse 19, like a bad tooth and an unsteady foot is confidence in a faithless man in time of trouble. Guys, in time of battle, look at David's mighty men. In times of trouble, as David marched out of Jerusalem, Absalom taking his throne in Jerusalem, look to those who are around him. There are certain guys that are mentioned over and over. And there are some guys I liken like hitmen of the Lord that work for David, they work for Solomon, and they just put the bad guys out on behalf of the king. And these guys were the steady guys. These guys were the teeth that kind of clamped down and wouldn't let go until the fight was gone. But confidence in a faithless man in time of trouble. You want confidence in a faithful man or woman in time of trouble as the battle rages, as the warfare goes on. Like the one who takes a garment on a cold day, or like vinegar and soda, is he who sings songs to a troubled heart. I'm not quite sure about taking the garment on a cold day. That's kind of more self-explanatory. That wouldn't be good to take a garment off of a guy on a cold day. You don't want to take his wrap, you don't want to take his covering on a cold day and let the guy freeze to death at night. I don't know about vinegar and soda. Maybe if you guys can research that. It's probably a Hebrew idiom, that maybe we're just not acquainted with today. Vinegar and soda. I'm not sure if that's a fountain mix that they used to mix back down at the soda fountains, the soda jerk. But I do know this: singing songs to a troubled heart, songs of praise and worship bring comfort to hearts that are troubled. And a lot of times I've gone into the places, hospitals, not real lately, but before it seemed to be more. But as you go into those places, you tell the guy, hey, you cannot get up and run at it, seems like fussing up the ukulele. You gotta at least say that now. But the songs of praise and worship, the little songs really just bring comfort to a hurting man. Just the song of the sweet song of strumming of some chords and stuff like that, bring comfort to the heart. Verses 21 and 22, if your enemy is hungry, give food to him to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Guys, I think that I'm not sure that David would do this with the Philistines and so on and so forth. And many have tried to be pacifists. I know that Jane Fonda wanted to love your enemies, during the Vietnam War and so on and so forth. But I think that maybe if your neighbor's down, maybe he needs a sandwich or some food. Hey, that's wonderful. If he needs a cup of cold water, that's wonderful. If he's one that kind of kicked at you when you were down, it's kind of like, maybe you're returning the favor, you're bringing those burning coals. I don't know if those burning coals were to light up the coals of fire within the home, or, maybe add a little bit of heat to the guy to wake him up, or whatever it might be. But a bit of kindness goes a long way with kind of cooling things between people, relationships between people, opening doors, and it's a good thing. The north wind brings rain, and a backbiting tongue and angry countenance. The tongue can bring great gifts or can bring great destruction, guys. You guys know that we've gone through the Proverbs much of the time about the tongue. Right? It's better to live in the corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Ooh, all you ladies. Contentious literally means strife or fighting, quarreling. But both parties need to examine their hearts. If you're a husband and wife, why is there strife in the house? Is the wife part of the strife? Is the husband bringing strife onto the relationship? What is it? Is it not enough love and too much criticism? What does it mean? Even amongst roommates and amongst siblings or children, it could be something of that matter. Some people gotta maybe live by themselves, but it's kind of a lonely life. Chuck Swindoll wrote a small little book years ago, and I wish I had this book. It was like more like a pamphlet, but it was the lonely cry of the lonely howl of the lone wolf. It was kind of like the guy who had it all his way, and he was kind of locked away, all by himself, having it all his own way. But yet, deep down inside, man, he was one lonely guy. He had it all his way. He had everything he wanted, all his way. And unfortunately, a lot of guys, they live their life out to the very end like that, kind of lonely, all alone. And I think with Jesus, we'll never be alone. And again, but husbands and wives, families, examine your hearts and see what each party can do. Verse 25, like cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a distant land. Doesn't this proverb have a lot of stuff about good news, good messengers, words spoken in right circumstances, and so on and so forth? But a good word is always refreshment to the recipient. It's always refreshing to the recipient. Just when you needed that, just when you felt all bust up, just when you felt all out of gas, you turned on David Jeremiah, or somebody like that, and they just spoke a word. Or you just caught Steve Santos, just at the right time, at the 2 o'clock, the 1:30 hour, when you're kind of fading out, going downhill, you're just feeling a little weak, and you just get pumped up. The good word of refreshment is always good to the recipient. Verse 26, like a trampled spring and a polluted well is the righteous man who gives way before the righteous. I was kind of looking at just the last half of that and thinking that is discretion a better part of valor? In other words, knowing when to kind of step away from the battle and kind of just take the exit stage left. But when you read the whole thing, the whole verse, like a trampled spring and a polluted well, which is not a good thing, it's not good for us to not get on, not take the trouble head on, if God is directing us. So, in other words, we go ahead with all the wisdom, trusting God, standing our ground before the wicked. In other words, taking a stand. It's kind of like the guys who are all outside of the Capitol, picketing and protesting against the same-sex marriage. They're like the thousands of guys like Franklin Graham. And what the guys mentioned was no news channel made one mention of the Franklin Graham rally on the state capitol grounds. And you see, we're the silent majority. I think we represent a lot of people. Maybe we're the silent minority, because a lot of the people who I thought with us, really in their hearts, they said, it's not so bad. Let them have what they want. Let them do. They're not bothering me, so let them go. I always thought, most of the people, they agree, but most of the people say that let them go. And good, a lot of good local guys, they give that response. Yeah, let them go. Verse 27, it's not good to eat much honey, nor is it a glory to search out one's own glory. In other words, here again, your appetites, like honey, like a sweet tree, take it in moderation. So you don't seek the glory for yourself, but all the glory be given unto God. Yeah, guys, give the glory to God. It gratefully belongs to Him. We close here, verse 28, like a city that is broken in two without walls is a man who has no control over his spirit. The spirit here, like emotions or appetites, desires for riches, possessions, power, drunk lust, or whatever thing it might be, pleasures, just to name a few, maybe like he breaks in the wall of protection and defense, guys. Like David with his laptop indiscretion with Bathsheba. It's not an indiscretion. Indiscretion sounds nice, yeah. Oh, he sinned, man. He had committed adultery with another man's wife, and then he killed Uriah. And it was out and out sin. But the spirit here, for the passing pleasure of sin, for the few moments of sin and pleasure, it brought breaks in the wall of protection and defense, leaving me vulnerable to attack. And that's what happens with us, guys. When we drop the guard down, the enemy sees the chinks in the armor, and he goes right for those weak spots. It's kind of like, the Lord of the Rings movies, when you see it, and you kind of think that, I thought this was supposed to be a spiritual movie. It looks like a bunch of monsters and a bunch of little people and so on and so forth. But when you see the pictures of the enemy trying to break down the defenses of the wall, finding the weak spot in the wall and then just attacking full force, it's kind of like life as a Christian, guys. The enemy's always looking for that weak spot. He's always looking for that hot spot that he can press, probe, and attack. And that's exactly when I do, I've seen the movies 3 times, and I said, oh, that's what it means, that's what it means. I guess I'm kind of thick and kind of slow to catch on, but you can kind of see that, hey, that's what the enemy looks like. They look like all these monsters, and they want to take our lives, and it's really true. And here's this big black warrior guy that's just trying to off the kings and off the king and kill all the good people. And that's exactly what the enemy wants to do, guys, to sweep us away, to take us down as he can find them. But the greater things that we are giving glory to God, speaking words rightly, being refreshing, being exhortative to our neighbors, not suing one another, but kind of just encouraging one another. If we got a beef with one another, just going in person and kind of make things right, talk sorry, take them a dozen eggs, whatever, and try and make things right and get it right in the things of the Lord. Don't hang out in your neighbor's house too long, but again, be steady for one another, be steady for one another. Be steady for one another, faith-filled, ready to serve the Lord. Amen, guys. Father God, we do want to thank you for this evening, Lord. We thank you for the joyous time of worship, Lord. And your word is always encouraging and exhortive and building us up, Lord, and bringing us to a place of exhortation, Lord, and encouraging us on to engage our lives in you, Lord. Take the word of God and make that application. Lord, how can I make this work? How do you want me to engage my life into these things, Father? And we do thank you, Lord. We do praise you for your love and your kindness, for your faithfulness, Lord. May we go this week in the power of your love, Lord, the moving of your Spirit, Lord, filled with your grace, your love, your mercy, knowing all of your loving kindness for us and for those around us. In Jesus' name we pray, we thank you and praise you. Amen.
Sorry, Pat, we changing the song.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see.
Glory, glory in the highest. Glory to the Almighty. Glory to the Lamb of God. Glory to the living God. Glory. Glory in the highest.